Hello, my name is Audrey Lindsay and this is my November update. Now I'm already getting a little bit bored of doing these, so I've decided that if I'm going to be chronicling the adventures of an actress d'un certain âge trying to break into the film area, then I should give each one a bit of a theme. So that's what I'm going to do with this one, and the theme will be self-taping, because why not? I seem to be doing quite a lot of them. But in terms of what's been happening this past month, I shot a couple more student films, this time for the London Film Academy. So I've done 4 of these now, and they're always really, really enjoyable, always overseen by the marvellous Lincoln. And you do it all in a day. It's a 3-minute film with no dialogue. And then you can end up going to see it the following week. So I've already been to the screenings of those and worked with some really lovely actors. That was great fun. And I also went to a screening of Why Me Masks, and that's a promotional film for the restorative justice charity Why Me, which I shot a while ago, but they had a special screening of a number of short films in the kind of criminal justice arena. So that was a really, really good evening and really worth doing. And I have been booked for a corporate job next week, but I can't talk about that yet because that will be in December, and therefore will have to be part of my next update. I've actually had to put some notes here so I remember what I've done. So self-taping, I've become a bit of an expert in them now. I have to say, I think when I started I was a bit useless, and I was doing things like doing them in my bedroom, which I still do, but I now have an attractive backdrop, which is actually a bit of toweling. You can tell I went to town on the expense, but I do have 2 proper lights that light, and I've actually just picked up a couple more of those from lovely Nikki in Fulham. Thank you so much, Nikki, who sold them to me via Gumtree, because these ones have a habit of, just when I'm getting to a bit that I think I'm doing quite well, one of them will collapse. So I'm hoping I've upped my game on the lighting front. So my best advice that I've read about self-taping, which I'm very much taking to heart now, is submit and forget. Because I used to be a little bit invested in the outcome of them, especially when I'd get contacted by someone who said, can you please do a self-tape over the weekend? So I'd put things on hold and I'd do a self-tape and I'd send it off and never hear another word, which I still find slightly odd. But I do appreciate everyone's, extraordinarily busy, but I think it would just be nice to be told no, or that wasn't very good, or could we wish you'd done it a different way, but I appreciate no one's got time, and I'm just going to have to learn how to do that myself. I've become quite good now at traveling around with a little tripod, because it's all very well to do sort of headshot type self-tapes here in my bedroom, but for anything that involves a sort of full length, I usually have to take that somewhere else to another location, which is meaning I have to think on my feet a bit, because I'm finding I get a brief for a self-tape and my initial reaction is always, I have no idea how I'm going to do that with my virtually non-existent resources, and then I just sort of mull it over for an hour or 2 and an idea will come to me. So I've done recently a self-tape in a hotel room where I was staying, and I discovered the only place in a hotel room which has adequate lighting is the bathroom. And if you pull across the shower curtain and sort of angle everything a bit, you've got a little mini studio, but very echoey sound, but you can't win them all. And I shot another one in a park in Portsmouth, where I had to fend off the attentions of a lovely lady who decided she wanted to help me, which was very nice of her, but I didn't really need her help at that point. So that all took a little bit longer than it was meant to. And then recently I had to do one full length, and I'd been using a church hall for another activity I do, so I asked the lady who runs it, could I stay in there for an extra 10 minutes, and she very kindly allowed me to do that. So that's been fun. I've realized that probably self-taping is one of my favorite things. It's a bit like rehearsing a play, which was always my favorite bit, even more than the actual performing of it. And once I've finished them, what I've started doing is, if I really am quite pleased with it, regardless of what anyone else may think of it or not giving me a job, I cobble a little bit of it out and slice it up, and I create what I call a character tape, and then I retain those, so that if I haven't got time to self-tape, or I just want to send off an example saying, or this is me playing a similar character, I've got something to send them. So that's it really. I mean, I haven't got very elaborate equipment or anything, but I do try and learn the script, and then, you know, I rehearse it a few times and I learn it as I'm rehearsing, and then try to make my final takes just 2 or 3, because they honestly never get better. In fact, in my experience, and this is just speaking for me, if I do it too often, it just starts to get worse and worse, and I become less convinced by it myself. So yes, why am I doing this? It's really, I think I'm probably the only person watching this, but then I'm keeping a lovely record that I can look back on when I'm really, really, really old, and I can think, God, didn't I have fun when I was slightly less old than I am now. So yeah, I'll do another update in December, and thank you so much for watching. See you later.